Patrick's in Weybridge. Patrick, afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Laurence.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello, John.
You two start talking.
Yeah, John, what it is this. Cornwall needs living wages. We've got an awful problem with in-work poverty, low pay, poor quality jobs in Cornwall. And you at Cornwall Council could show more leadership in terms of living wage and social justice. You could actually become, if you wished and put your mind to it, an accredited living wage employer.
Well, as you probably know, every direct employee of Cornwall Council now receives the living wage. We took a stance on that. We feel, I agree with you, feel it was right and proper to do so, and we ensured that any direct employee of Cornwall Council gets a living wage. So that's the first thing.
That's not enough.
No, I know it's not enough, but
you've left low pay in your supply chain.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to see better prospects for people in Cornwall is if people like you at the council, and indeed like me I'm an employer, and my holiday park, together with a couple of other holiday parks in Cornwall, are accredited living wage employers, and it'll interest you and also Laurence to know that there are only 3 holiday parks in the whole of the UK that are living wage accredited, and they're all in Cornwall. But
Excellent.
we do need more from the council. We need you to drive low pay out of your supply chain.
And I understand that, and I was about to answer that point, because clearly people like our arm's-length businesses are just that. They are arm's-length businesses. It's for them to develop whether they can have a business plan which will allow them to pay the living wage. We're certainly encouraging everybody to, but in terms of insisting and getting that accreditation, that in fact we don't feel we're able to do.
You own the companies?
Well, they are arm's-length companies.
But you still own them?
Yes, but they have their own business plans, their own finance, their own structures, and clearly that is for a decision for those boards to make. Can I say, I assume, I don't know, Patrick, you may know better than I assume that the national living wage, which is coming in April, will help somewhat, but I take your point about the leadership. The
national living wage, if I could interrupt, John,
please do.
is a whitewash. It is.
Okay.
It is clearly beneficial for people who are currently earning £6.70 on the national minimum wage, and if they're over 25, they will go up in April to the national living wage of £7.20. But the UK living wage, which I pay my staff, until yesterday was £7.85 an hour. It's gone up this morning to £8.25 an hour in Cornwall. And it is completely different. It's voluntary, it's independent, and it shows best practice. And basically, Cornwall is not leading with best practice. And what's more, Wales is, and so is Islington, and so is Camden. There are lots of councils up and down the country, and indeed countries, obviously. Wales is a country, not a council, who are showing leadership on this issue. Cornwall... I don't want to say typically, I'm disappointed, but Cornwall is not showing leadership. You are basically passing the buck, and you need to be far more resolved. You need to be saying to people that at the point contracts are renewed, you will not be renewing them with suppliers who do not pay
Will you do
the
that,
UK
John?
living wage.
Will you do that?
No, I would just contend, Patrick, that we have shown leadership. Not enough, as in your view, and that's fine, but we took a stance that every direct employee would get the living wage. And we have done that, and we've delivered in that, because within our business planning, within our finances, we felt we could. The next step we've not been able to make yet, and I take your point, but we simply haven't.
All right, Patrick, but you don't think that's good enough?
I think it's not good enough at all, Laurence. I think that if you don't have Cornwall Council showing leadership, you're not really going to get other businesses to buy into the concept. Currently, Laurence, there are only 10 living wage accredited employers across Cornwall, including Saltash Town Council, including 3 caravan parks, and then a few other people as well, which is great, but 10 is... I think we'd all agree it's pathetic.
But do you accept, though, that John's argument, it is impossible for him to interfere with the financial matters of arm's-length companies?
No, certainly not. I believe where there's a will, there's a way. Other councils are delivering the living wage. not just to their employees, but to their supply chain. And I believe that Cornwall Council needs to do an awful lot more about it.
That's a slightly different element, and I take your point entirely, Patrick. But if we insisted that every company who services us pays the living wage, then we would come across the fact that we do have some arm's length companies which are tied into arrangements with Cornwall Council that would find that impossible at the moment in terms of their business model. Now, we continue the discussion, we continue the impetus. I believe we've shown a lot of leadership because there's lots of councils who don't pay the living wage. You've asked us for a bit more. That's fine. I appreciate that. And we'll certainly continue the discussion.
All right. Listen, Patrick in Weybridge.
Thank you, Patrick.
Talking about money, dive...